I'm Calypso. I'm from DevLab. DevLab do three things. Firstly, we run London's largest open device lab, and we do that in partnership with UCL. DevLab can provide the devices into that lab, and then UCL is involved in kind of sort of day-to-day management of that. In addition to the device lab, UCL provides some other services for startups and developers, which Daniel can talk about.
The service that we offer to startups is effectively pre-market validation. So we help startups which typically have lower resources with UX services. So if they are looking to improve the quality of their interface, if they're having problems with user adoption, we look at those problems and we help them out.
Mobile Entertainment has been with us here at DevLab Live today, which is a conference and hackathon all about connecting bright minds with big brands. So creating the right kind of partnerships between developers and startups with organizations. I think it's about lighting people's imagination, finding new ways to surprise them and build a beautiful experience, something that connects with people on an emotional level.
Yeah, I agree. I think empathy is a big deal, and I think getting technology out of the way. I think so many developers and so many people who work in this space think that technology is sort of the solution, and you throw the technology at the problem, and then the user will be happy. But the sooner that the technology just fades away and the user is just getting on with what they wanted to do, that's when the real delight comes in. I think testing is a big problem. I think being able to test your apps in certain environments that are safe, and also getting the exposure, because it's just a sea of apps out there.
One of the things I'd like to put forward is this idea of kind of being able to test with a larger scale of users before you actually roll your app out to the market.
Right now, the way that apps are developed, you issue it out to your friends and family, and that's maybe 10 to 50 people if you're lucky. And then all of a sudden, once you've done that, then you jump to the 500,000 people who are on the App Store. And then there's this massive hole in between. So how do you satisfy that hole? And the project that we're working on is DevLab, essentially a private app store which facilitates that sort of testing. I think there's a lot of momentum. I think it's not a question of technology, it's mostly a question of society. Society being able to embrace them or not will ultimately decide their fate in the market.
It's not kind of one or the other. I see this wonderful kind of intersection between a variety of different technologies which will interface with each other. So wearables with Internet of Things, everything is kind of one big mesh. This whole kind of connected experience, and actually rather than thinking about just one connected device, which is purely driven by your mobile phone, that it is actually interfacing with multiple products within your ecosystem. Well, I think it's I think it's a global economy, and just kind of focusing on one market or another. I don't think is relevant. I think in Britain we kind of temper things with reality much more, and so I think a little bit of dose of kind of British and US sensibilities combined kind of make for a good attitude for a startup. I was particularly impressed by one app. I think it's two words. It starts with Kiwi. It was it recently kind of won a wearable award. One of the interesting things was it was kind of like a monitoring app, but it looked at lots of different aspects of your life. So I find when I look at a lot of things happening in wearables, there's a huge amount of focus on fitness or on maybe it's calorie intake, or I don't know, measuring lots of different aspects. But this one takes measures of every aspect of your life, from sleep patterns to to fitness, to health and lifestyle, and that user data, getting a picture of that user data about yourself, about how you live your life, and this notion of not competing against oneself, but being able to compare your own kind of user data, I think, is a really interesting thing.
There's one app in particular called Art Guru, and it's literally a museum in your pocket. So if you'd like to have an audio guide to any museum that you're visiting, it's an audio guide in your pocket and it just takes you around the museum.
Well, for me, I think my number one tip would have to be use validation.
I'd say it's one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is putting it through the mom test. I'm thinking about if your mom would use it, and if she can use it, then it's probably a good app.